Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Etheria restart video, and today I'm going to show you a priority list, a tier list of who I think you should actually 6-star first in this game. I made a few mistakes on my account, and not mistakes that I'm going to regret in the long term of the game, but I think I 6-starred some characters early that slowed my progression in PvE down quite a bit, and I want to try and help you avoid those mistakes, give you kind of the reasoning behind who, if I was starting over, especially as a free-to-play player, who I would invest my very, very valuable, these things right here, these red shadow prints. Man, these things are rare. You don't get a ton of them, so who should you invest them in? Let me help you through that. To give you an idea of what I did first, my first character was Rahu. I would not have done him first if I went back in time. Now that I've done 3 or 4, I really like having him at 6-star. I've kind of hit the point in the game where I can give him the gear. I'm kind of deeper into PvP where he catches a bunch of people off guard, but he wasn't as helpful in pushing through early PvE content as some other characters could have been. Heinrich was my second. Love that choice. Great choice. I use Heinrich all the time, and when I started using him, I pumped him to 6 stars and I pumped gear onto him, and my account changed. It kind of leveled my account up, and he's very universally useful. Then I did Doki Doki. This one is a PvP specific one that I did that also didn't really help me progress as much in PvE. In fact, I don't really use her in PvE. Then I did Mio, who is not only really good in PvP, but it's also very useful in PvE. I probably would have done Mio and not Doki looking back, and then maybe saved some of my resources for another character. Now, let's get to a tier list here, and I'm going to give you a little bit more detailed of a breakdown. I'm going to throw the list on the screen. Boom, here it is. Now, this is not a tier list of characters that I think are good or bad. Nothing like that. This is a list of characters and their priority at which, when I would 6-star them. So let's start with the top right here. Then we'll get to that speed category. 1 and 2. What 1 and 2 mean are these are the first 1 or 2 characters that I would 6-star, because they're going to be your main damage dealers in basically everybody's case on here except for Heinrich. With Rosa and Rilmoka, their elemental advantage they have in the fights where they're good is just it's undeniable, right? Having a 6-star Rosa, having a 6-star Rilmoka will just help you power up your count in a bigger way than I think having a 6-star any of these characters from the 3 to 5 or 6+ list will. Rilmoka is tailor-made to fight Doki Doki, which is such an insanely annoying boss to fight without her. So by powering her up, you're just getting, it's almost like you, not cheat code, the fight's still tricky, but you just get such an advantage by having a super strong Rilmoka, and she translates into all the other fights where the green element has an advantage. She's also really good in PvP. You'll just use her a ton. Rosa, same thing, right? Any fight where that blue element's going to be your advantage. Hey, look, throw Rosa in there, and she's just brow, brow, brow. She's spinning her blades on everything. Great for farming shells, also strong in PvP. And then Messiah is a great investment because even though there's not a ton of fights in the game, especially module fights, there's none where he has the elemental advantage. And in fact, every time he has the advantage, he also has the disadvantage because it's that light dark thing. Still, the dude, you can play him in everything. You just play him in everything. You want to do more damage? Hey, do you need more damage? Level up your Messiah. Give your Messiah better gear. Get him to 6 stars and get that big boost in stats that you get. So those are my favorite 3, and I have only Rosa of that group, and that's why I'm strongly considering having Rosa be my next 6-star. Now, another consideration I'm having for my next 6-star is from this number 2. It's Didding. I have Chloros, I have Didding, and I have Heinrich. I've already 6-starred Heinrich. Again, use him all the time. Maybe not as universally useful as Messiah, but when you do need Heinrich, and as the game gets farther, you will kind of need him more, his buff stripping, second to none. His debuffing on bosses, blocking their healing. He damage amps your team with his special debuff that he puts on. And his damage is respectable. You can build him for DPS, you can build him for speed and prioritize his buffing thing. Love this character. Use him all the time. If he's one of your first 2, maybe your second to 6-star, I think you'll see some value there. I did purposely put him behind though Chloros and Didding. So Chloros and Didding are both single target damage dealing like experts, right? They're going to just blast a single target. And I haven't leveled Chloros at all because I pulled him kind of late. Ditting is much easier to level. And honestly, it's the reason that I have Chloros down in tier 2 instead of tier 1. I do think that like he might be slightly worse than Rilmoka or Rosa, but he gives kind of that same like, look, in fire element advantage fights, single target damage seems to be very, very good. In fact, there's a ton of fights in this game where single target damage is very good, but you might just use Ditting instead. And so that's why I kind of bumped them down to the second option. Look, you're going to love it. Your account's going to progress if you get these guys to 6-star. I'm going to 6-star one of them, right? So I kind of have a choice to make myself. Is my next 6-star Rosa? Is it Ditting? One of those two is going to be mine. So there's me. Now, this next category is speed. Here's the deal with the speed category. It's not solely a PvP category, but it certainly is a lot. It's like half PvP category. There's a lot of emphasis on PvP in the speed category, because in PvP right now, you get such an advantage by going early. So with characters like Lily, Marvel, Freya, Mio, if they can lead off and kind of start the snowball rolling for your team, a lot of times right now you can just win. Still, how long does this meta last? We don't really know. Like, it won't be this way forever. There's going to be sets of gear. There's going to be shells. There's going to be ways to like live through or resist that opening wave of damage from the enemy, in which case their value in PvP might fall a little bit. But with a character like Lily, she's also incredibly valuable across PvE. Mio, again, she's sort of like Marvel and Kraken combined into one character. Now, she can't do both of their things on the first turn, thank God, or she'd be the best character in the game and would need nerfed into oblivion. But she can like turn 1 Marvel, turn 2 Kraken. That's nuts. So I think she's great in PvP. She's also great in PvE. We all know what Marvel does. And Freya, guys, Freya might be the most undervalued character in this game. I think people accept that Freya is good, but there's so many comps that I'm building. I was building one earlier on stream today where the missing piece for my comp was just Freya. Like getting that attack buff, getting that little bit of lifesteal from like the debuff she's putting on the boss, her damage amp that she puts on the boss. She's nuts, man. Like Freya is so good. And so I think you shouldn't do all of those characters, but I think you should have a speed character on your account that you invest heavily into. They're going to be more survivable by taking them to that 6 stars, and they will gain more base speed. Base speed's hard to get in this game. So you get more base speed by 6-starring them, and especially if you're into PvP, having somebody who can lead off hit for you is a big deal. So on that list, I have my Mio 6-starred. My Marvel is 5. My Freya is 5. I don't have Lily, and I actually have Doki Doki at 6-star on my account. That's one of the ones I wish I wouldn't have done. I do use her in PvP, but I could have waited, right? I could have like, I could have done her like when I had 4 or 5 other ones. Okay, now in this 3 to 5 category, these are characters that I think are really good. And after you kind of get your main 6 stars that are really helping you like push through the game, come to this group. Like if you have characters from this group that you use a lot and you kind of want to 6-star them, go for it. And again, this is all just my opinion. There's going to be people who are saying, nope, I 6-starred Born day 1 and he's hard carrying my account. Awesome. Good. I'm happy for you. This is just a list of the way that I would do it if I started the game over and like got all the characters. If I had every character at level 1, this is sort of how I would start constructing my roster in that early part of the game. And I think once you get to a point where your account can basically do everything you want, you can then either one, like wait for new characters because they'll probably be OP and you could 6-star them, or you could just start being like, yeah, you know, I'm like a big Selence fan because like me and you got Selence and you just want to 6-star because she's your girl. All right, fine. If you got 5 other 6-star characters that are carrying your account and you feel like venturing out, it's a video game. Have fun. And at the end of the day, like any guide like this that I make or that anybody else makes, this is us telling you the way we would do it. You can play this game any way you want to, but I think people do get a lot of value. I think they feel better about the choices they make if they hear somebody else kind of say they're making that choice. So I'm sharing with you today my thought process. I also got a lot of help from chat on this one. Chat was very good at helping in this video. So shout out to them. And there you go, guys. That's my thoughts. That's my list. I hope this video helps you out. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.